Well, hello, YouTube and Facebook. Welcome back to another episode of The Big Show, hosted by me. Alongside of me, as always, a good friend of mine, color commentator, and just a downright good dude. Give it up one time for Dwayne Ward.
Hi, everybody.
Dwayne is he is in rare mood today, so if he gets a little edgy, I just want to let you guys know, this topic can get to a few people out there, because there's no short supply of people that will be listening to this, especially on Dad Talk Today, that have not already went through a divorce. So if the topic kind of piqued your interest, I'm glad that you're here. If it's the first time you've been here, welcome. Basically, what the Big Show is just a show where we get together and we kind of talk about a few things like overall life advice, sometimes masculinity training, sometimes dating coaching, but basically just try to help men be better men and people be better people. As far as a topic of the show goes, I'm sitting down and I'm kind of thinking to myself, what is it that we need right now? What is it that's hurting people out there? And I get a lot of the same types of questions and comments. And, one of the things that I hear a lot about is, of course, the opposite sex. It's always a question around, how do I attract her? How do I retain and keep her? How do I make her happy? Is divorce even worth it? I'm sorry, is marriage even worth it?
Sometimes divorce is worth it too. We'll get into that.
Yeah. So, there's just a lot of life questions that people ask and stuff. And it's really hard to answer it with a big broad brush because everyone's situation is a little unique, know. But for the most part, half of America has been through a divorce, and it's unfortunate and it's painful. And it's painful for a bunch of different reasons, not only financially painful, spiritually painful,
emotionally very painful.
Emotionally, the most painful of them all, I don't know if many of you guys know this out there, but I myself went through a divorce, and I will tell you that it left a scar. It left a pretty big, nasty scar. I'm an overthinker, and people who know me well, they know that I'm an overthinker. There's I may be very outgoing on the podcast, but if you're ever to meet me in person, you'll catch me at times just kind of staring off into space because my brain's just going a mile a minute. And I'm thinking about everything.
The dome's not for show then? Is that what you're saying?
No. Yeah.
Did you shave it down so where you can get the
more good weight
more in there? Gotcha. Yeah. Maybe I need to cut my hair. Maybe that would work.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got some pretty sweet hair, so I don't know if just hold on to it as long as you can, my friend.
Gotcha.
Hold on to it as long as you can. But a lot of times people will ask me, am I all right? Am I mad or something? And it's not that I'm mad at all. Yeah. I'm just deep in thought,
Right.
And I have this stoic look on my face, and probably a lot of you guys out there know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking about all kinds of things, but you want to know what men oftentimes think about? We think about the past a lot.
Yes,
we think about the mistakes that we've made a lot. Yep. We think about what we could have done different or what we could have done better to make this work or that work. And it's no surprise why we as men do that. It's because there's so much pressure on us to perform. There's pressure on us to perform for our children. There's pressure to perform on us with our workplace and then our wives, and then the pressure to perform to make the best decisions you can for the overall betterment of the family. Right. And when things don't go the way that we want them to do, we take it hard. There's not a lot of sounding boards for us men to kind of share things. And if this kind of sounds like something you might be going to, I would suggest that you guys become a part of the Dad Talk Today support group, and you'll see other men kind of go through some of the things that you might have gone through. And there's a lot of different tips and tricks. And heck, even if you never get a tip or trick out of that group, you'll at least get a little bit of satisfaction knowing that you're not the only one. Right. And you can kind of use the guys there as a little bit of a support team, if you will. But in terms of divorce, let me just state some of the obvious. Divorce is messy, and divorce is painful, and it takes you on a roller coaster ride of emotions, right? I mean, it just takes you on a roller coaster ride of emotions, often filled with resentment and regret for a love that's been lost, or for a love that wasn't even there to begin with.
That's usually the case. The love was actually never there. It was all a facade for days, weeks, months, years, decades, whatever, until the hypergamy kicked in and they jettisoned to the next better guy or better situation for them.
And when you think about that, Dwayne, what do you think? Do you think that it hurts more to have been in a loving relationship and lost it, or do you think it hurts more to have thought you're in a loving relationship, but there really wasn't love there, and you found out that you were just no more than a fool in a like a pawn in a fool's game? Which one do you think hurts the most?
If you're a thinker, the latter. Yeah, the one where you were never, because over the years, you slowly realize, if you're doing that retrospective look and examining where you played a part in it and those things weren't adding up, you get to that, wow, that person never did love me. They used me for my resources, whatever I was, whatever I could provide to them. And then when I was no longer good enough, either I lost those, like, I got hurt at work and I was no longer able to provide that financial income or whatever, or they just simply jettisoned to the next, Chad bad boy or Sally cool girl, whatever. That, to me as a thinker, that would hurt worse, to realize that you were used. You invested so many years of your life trying to deal with all the, issues with the relationship, thinking that you were, because it's not done in a vacuum. You end up going crazy, especially when they're using you. You end up going crazy because you're like, well, how can I be better? Well, maybe I am that person. Maybe I don't, I should do this more, or I'm not doing this. And then later you find out, oh wow, this was all a ruse just to play with you, and then jettison you for the next guy that they're going to then possibly flaunt in your face. Oh yeah, that's got to hurt a lot worse.
I agree with you. I think it would hurt more to have thought that you had someone that loved you and then realized you didn't. But what do you guys think on Facebook? What do you guys think on YouTube? Put it in the comment section. Sound off. And guys, if you have any questions or you just want to have your comments heard, go ahead and drop us a comment in the comment section. And because I'd be curious to think, do you think that it hurts more to have actually loved, knowing that you were loved, but then lose it? Or do you think it hurts more thinking that you're loved and realizing that you never were? I'd be curious to see what you guys think. But I'll tell you, either way, it's never easy. And when two people who promise to spend a lifetime together separate, they don't just end their marriage. They end years upon years of friendships, promises, dreams.
Right.
It's not just a separation of marriage. It's a separation of many different things. And they end those bittersweet memories of what it used to be and leave nothing but questions of where, why, and how something that was once so beautiful and true could go so terribly wrong.
Well, I have a black and white view of the world. There's right and there's wrong, and there's little things that come in the way. And I look at, the 50% of divorces, with 70% of them being women initiating for I'm not happy reasons.
Yeah.
I remember my vows. I remember what they said and the promises that were made. And again, there's always going to be that person who's going to argue, except for physical abuse and the emotional abuse. We can argue about that all day long, and that's just whatever. Cheating, the big issues, like something where you just got to get away from them because they were just driving you absolutely bonkers, or they're hurting you, whatever. Aside from that, 70% of the time, women are liars. And they go in there and they they make their agreement with God for the religious ceremonies. They make their commitments. They say, I will be with you till the end, for sicker or for better, for worse, sicker or poor, all those things. But as soon as things get a little that they're not happy, 70% of the time, again, these are the numbers, 70% of the time they're out. And I just look at them, you're nothing but liars.
Yeah, and that's a fair argument. It's certainly not going to feel good for women to hear that, but there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. I'm gonna be bold and brash. F your happiness. F your happiness. Marriage was never about, we stay together until you're no longer happy, and then when you're no longer happy, you can bail on me.
And it's worse because the woman generally gets cash and prizes for her exit. Again, our government's set up to subsidize and give them cash and prizes for getting out there, usually at the destruction of the man, where all of his finances, resources, his emotional state, everything is destroyed in that process. She's rewarded for doing it, so she doesn't have an incentive. And again, 70% of all marriages end when the woman files divorce and she's saying, I'm no longer happy. Like you're not taking me to Paris and, fulfilling all my dreams and all that. And they're just unhappy because of usually their own issues that they have. They reflect on that. If you look at the other studies, they reflect on that later in life. They realize that they screwed up. They had a good guy that was going to be with them to the end. They played with him. They screwed him over. They got their ha-has, tried to destroy him. He came out of it and survived. And then now they're, they're punching their 10th ticket at the ASPCA club, getting their cat and going, oh man, I screwed up.
Yeah. And I tell you guys, be careful thinking that your partner is going to be the one that makes you happy. Be careful hoping or wishing that your partner is the one that's going to make you feel alive, because your partner's human and unhappy and feels all the same emotions that you guys do as well. It's not another person's responsibility to make you happy. And we're not saying that you should be in a marriage if, again, there's some heinous acts going on. Yeah. Dwayne spelled it out pretty clearly. There's there's a few things like cheating and physical abuse that, we all would agree with. You don't want to be around that stuff. But we're talking about the lion's share, the mass of reasons. And the mass reasons why a lot of divorces are filed by women is they'll put down unreconcilable differences. And that's just a cop out of, he no longer makes me happy, or he no longer can have me in the same lifestyle that I was accustomed to. So I'm going to go find someone better. And ladies, I don't exactly blame you all for it, because you've been force fed this
Hallmark Channel nonsense.
Yeah. Since you were born.
Yeah.
Other women are telling you you're a queen and that you deserve to be happy. The media and shows and the Hallmark cars and the Lifetime channels, you're being bombarded with these very rare acts of like falling in love with this Prince Charming.
You're psychic. Sorry, I didn't get that dig in there.
Yeah.
My first ex-wife told me that her psychic told her that she was going to have a happy, financially successful life, and blah 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 blah.
How's she doing?
I think she's going to refund from her psychic. Just put it out there. Maybe a little bit off.
So the point is, ladies, if you think that your happiness is going to derive from a man who has more money than your previous man, or your career and the money that you make is going to make you happy, trust me. You know what? Don't trust me. Don't. As a matter of fact, just open your own eyes and take a look at the 40 plus aged women out there that are divorced. Are they getting married in mass? Do you know that the stats are this? For women who are 40 and over, only 2.9% of women over the age of 40 get married. That's it. 2.9, 3 out of 100. So just be careful that you don't put yourself in a situation where you think the grass is greener, but then you get out there on that shit show of a dating market that we call a dating market. You don't want to be out there. There ain't nothing for you ladies out there, okay? There aren't Prince Charming ain't on Tinder.
Prince Charming. Find the fourth. They're trying to find a Walmart cart with 4 wheels that work right. I mean, it ain't happening. Yeah. Now, the 40s and all that. Are you talking about the largest demographic that are on depression medications? Is that the same demographic we're talking about?
The same demographic where 1/4 of all the ladies in America now are taking some sort of medication for psychiatric issues.
Wait, you're saying 75% are running around unmedicated?
They're running around unmedicated, and it's scary out there. It's like Halloween every week on dating on the dating sites. But back to the marriage. Neither. Here's the thing about it: neither marriage or divorce comes with a instruction manual, right?
No.
So when you lose the love of your life through divorce, you wish that you could have done things differently to save your marriage. And not all guys, right? There's situations. Some of you guys are going, hey, the best thing I ever did was get out of my marriage. Fair enough. And Dwayne is one of them, right? But I'm referring to the people, I guess, kind of like myself, where, if I could have chosen, I would have liked to have still been married. Mm-hmm. I loved that woman and she loved me, but we just couldn't make it work. No one really wants to be divorced. And there are certainly, again, times where it's justified. But I think the majority of people look back and go, man, if I could have done it again, I would have done things differently. Yeah. Maybe I could have reacted this way or that way.
Self-reflection.
Yeah, I know, a lot of self-reflection. So I'm referring to those people who are listening,
Yeah.
not the people that went through crazy abuse and things like that. But there's just just like having kids, there's just no instruction manual to that. And they don't teach how to be a better husband or how to be a great wife in schools. We are kind of at the mercy of our parents and watching our parents to kind of learn, maybe watching some people in your own community. And we don't, all of us, we don't really have a lot of great teachers when it comes to this topic.
No.
Men who have experienced divorce, they often carry invaluable lessons learned through personal traits, learned through tribulations, learned through being kicked down and picking yourself back up. And their unique perspective offers a treasure trove of wisdom, providing guidance on how to navigate the complexities and journey of a marriage. So what I want to do today, guys, is I want to share with you from a once married man, now divorced, and amongst the other divorced men that I was able to conjure up what they thought or what they would have told themselves should they could go back in time. I'm going to share with you some tips and some life tips on the next marriage or the next relationship you might have from once married but now divorced men. And like I said, their perspective is different, right? I mean, once you go through that, they just,
it's like war. It changes you.
It does. It just changes you. And one of the things I've always, we actually talked about this on a podcast about 2 months ago. Remember when I looked into the end of life surveys and I was reading some of the quotes that some of the people who were facing their mortality in nursing homes and like they didn't have much more time to live, and learning what their regrets were about their life. They're looking at life through a different lens when you're facing your own mortality. And there's a lot of regret there, right? There's a lot of regret. And I tell you, it's changed me watching and listening to them older men, older ladies on the brink of their own death, because I don't want to be one of them and riddled with regret either, right? So it made me kind of take a few more risks and made me kind of just brush it off a little easier. And it's making me kind of love life a little bit more. And I'm not where I want to be. I'm not saying that, but it's moving me in the right direction, because I don't want to look back when I'm an old man on a rocking chair and go, you know what? I wish I would have done this. And you know what I've learned from those people is I've learned that I'm never going to ever regret not working more. I'm never going to ever regret, staying 60 hours a week at the workplace instead of 50 hours a week. What I'm going to regret is not doing things with people that I love. I'm going to regret not taking chances, not starting up that business, not learning how to play piano, not, the things that I've always kind of wanted to do, but never really took a step towards it. I'm going to regret those things.
Right.
So whenever I give you guys some of these tips are from me personally, and some of them are from other men who are divorced. But I want you guys to really take heed to these tips, because these are coming from men who are divorced that are looking at the next generation of guys and trying to help them understand that, hey, while you're in a marriage and it can be salvaged and it can be saved, try doing these things. And the first thing I want to do, and I put it first because it might be one of the most important, is, guys, if you're in a relationship, a long-term one or a marriage, never stop courting her. Continual courtship is in a relationship is key to keeping the spark that you guys have alive, because it involves consistently making an effort to win your partner's affections, kind of like what you guys did when you first started dating, and the one thing that I've noticed that men do that I wish they would stop doing is men understand the courtship process before you land her. But a lot of men, I've noticed that once they put the ring on her finger and they got her locked in, they stop.
Well, it's not that ring doesn't mean anything anymore. 50% of the time, divorce, 70% of those women that ring doesn't magically mean that you're going to be together forever, because if a woman wakes up and says, I'm not feeling it. Or as one person commented, they're in love, but I'm not in love with you, which I would love to address that one. But yeah, I mean, it's not over. But a lot of times guys do that. And that's when women say they're not happy. That's one of those things. They're not courting anymore. And that doesn't need to be, horse-drawn carriage level courting.
Right,
I was going to ask you, like, what are some examples, like, as an old married dude like myself, what does courting mean after you get married? It doesn't need to be these big, these big overtures and trips to Spain and all that. It's still keeping the little things and doing those, to keep that spark alive.
Exactly. I mean, when's the last time you guys took her out for a nice dinner where you guys got dressed up in something other than shorts and a college?
Last night.
Yeah. Well, you did. Yeah. Yeah. Dwayne was snazzy last night. He actually sent pictures. I mean, he was dressed better than I ever have on the podcast last night.
We were joking that's why I don't dress up. I want to, I'm a married dude. You're on the market. I don't want to take anything away from you.
And I appreciate that because I can't have you steal my thunder.
I do what I can, I'm here for you.
But guys, don't forget that she wants to feel still. Just because you're married doesn't mean you stop. Right. Make that date night a regular reoccurring thing and make her always feel like she's wanted and she's loved. Make her feel like she's desired and sought after. These actions help to recreate the excitement, the romance that characterized the early stages of your guys' relationship. Yeah. So by never stopping the courtship, you can prevent your relationship from falling into complacency or routine, ensuring that it remains vibrant and fulfilling. It's about showing your partner that they have value and that they're loved every single day. Right. So just don't forget that one. Let's go to the comment section because you said we had a few comments. So Alicia's back. Hey, Alicia. Sometimes when you marry young, you still love them, but not in love with them. Yeah. I get that. I don't disagree, but the one pushback I would say is that I certainly agree with Alicia, but then how do we justify our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents? All of them got married when they were 19, 18, 17, 20 years old, 21. Heck, by the time they were 24, if they weren't married by 24, they'd call the women an old maid.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, nowadays, if a woman gets married at 24, they're like, girl, you're way too young. You need to go out there and, run roughshod or whatever.
Play the sausage carousel. Yeah.
Jump on the OC carousel. But it's not that I don't disagree with her. I do. I mean, it is a different time or whatever, but I could make a strong argument that our grandparents, they got married at 20 and they grew in different directions. Because I think what Alicia's saying is, hey, sometimes you kind of grow apart from each other.
Happens.
And she's right. Once again, she's right. She's rarely wrong, by the way, every time she comments. But what about our grandparents? They were 20. He grew differently. She grew differently, but they still made it work. And I think that the missing ingredient to that soup is duty. I keep saying it. It's duty. They had a duty that they were going to stick together. Those vows meant something.
That's what I'm saying. The vows, the commitments that you make. I get that. I mean, and guys we generally, again, based on the numbers, don't leave when we're unhappy. When we talk about 50% of the marriages being in place, as far as the men are concerned, they're like, it sucks, but whatever. They're just okay, kind of hanging with it. They're holding on to the vows and holding on to that. But again, with Alicia's comment, it depends on where it was, said as far as when our podcast, what we were talking about. That is like the reason that divorce is that 70%.
What does that mean?
Oh, well, Home Depot. We go to Home Depot and get our next project. Brandy is a project person. And so we go to Home Depot or Lowe's. Like right now, we're waiting on carpet to come in. Or I redid her office I built her an office about a month or so ago. But yeah, that's something that you guys find in common. That's fun to do. Is we over our years we've retooled, laid flooring, redid rooms, painted walls, did stuff to improve the house, buy skeletons. I mean, stuff like that.
by 12-foot tall skeletons.
By a 12-foot tall skeleton. Those are little things. Yeah, you think that any day of the week I would want to have a 12-foot tall skeleton, out in front of the house? Hell no. But I know that made her happy. That was something that would help her happiness, and it was like boom, dream realized, and we move on. But with the whole thing with you love them but not in love with them, that's that 70% of divorces is they say I'm not in love with you. Well, that's a cop out. That's that's the things where you have to work on, and it's both of you working on it. And sometimes, ladies, you're the ones in the wrong. Just gonna throw it out there. I know people hate to hear that because everyone's stunning and brave, but sometimes the lady's wrong, and the guy, he's doing what he can. He's just kind of confused. Another thing is that guys are more logical. Women operate more off of feelings. What was that comment?
Yeah, so Family Affair is on. Hello, Family Affair.
Yeah, that is the thing. I mean, marriages should be lifelong commitments. The joke is no one gets out of this thing alive, by natural death or otherwise.
So we got a question. Nicholas Cologne. Cologne have a really good friend, last name Cologne, and he says, "What would you say the best age is for to marry as a man?" So, best age. What do you think it was? Oh, Dwayne's like,
never. And I'm a hypocrite to a degree because I've been married. I'm married now. I've been married a total of 3 times. But in today's environment, with the cash and prizes that women generally get on divorce, it's just not worth it. And for the people that talk about prenups, those are routinely, everyone likes to argue about prenups. Those are routinely thrown out, and they're completely inadmissible when it comes to children. So the child support and all that, they back end around for maintenance part 2. But right now, it is probably one of the dumber things to do for a man to get married. Any man should not be getting married now. And I know I'm a hypocrite.
Well, there's a strong argument to be made there. It's not going to stop men from still doing it.
Right.
But let's say that we got some men out there who, despite what you say and despite all that, still, what would you say? Because I know what I would say. I'm curious to see what you would say.
It's bad for raising children, but I would say older than 35 because they've gotten their dumb phase of their life done, where they're trying to figure out who the hell they are. And going through those trials and tribulations, they've hopefully got into a career.
Yeah.
And they're moving forward with that. They've gained some assets. They've matured as who they are personally. And then they are ready, I would say, post 35 years old.
I'm going to agree with them. Nick, is I think in your 30s and where in your 30s, whether that be your early or latter 30s, will depend on you personally.
Yeah.
And how many big mistakes you have made or where you're at in your career. The number one thing that I would warn men like you, Nick, to watch out for: do not get a woman pregnant.
Oh,
that is going to just throw a stick in the cog of what you got going on. Don't have babies out of wedlock, Nick. Don't do it. And if you, it's going to limit the type and quality of woman that you would probably be able to get in the future. Yep. Just like when women, have children, it sometimes limits them from the type of man they would want. Yep. And what I would say, Nick, is I would say in your 20s, bud, spend about 10 to 15% only of your time, 10 to 15% of your time, chasing women. The rest of it needs to be chasing your goals, your future goals. I don't care what your future goals are, dude. I don't care if you want to open up an ice cream shop. I don't care if you want to have a food truck and you want to sit it outside of office buildings. You go chase your dreams in your 20s because
coal and ice cream.
Throw
it out there.
Maybe I don't have ice cream. Maybe not ice cream.
Maybe NC ice cream. Not coal and ice cream or something.
Yeah.
That might throw off a different vibe. And I'm messing with you.
Maybe a plumbing service or something like that. We're just playing with you, Nick.
Yeah.
But spend your 20s developing your personal infrastructure, learning who you are as a man, understanding what it is that you want from a woman in the future, and then hopefully in your 30s, maybe sooner in your 30s and not latter, you'll have the resources to be able to be married. Because just because you want to be married, keep in mind you're going to be taking on a wife and a ton of responsibilities, and I'm assuming children, because if you're not looking to have children, there's not a really good reason to get married, to Dwayne's earlier points. So if you want to start a family and you want to get married, you're going to have some resources and able to do that. So I'm going to say 30s.
And with that, look out for the thirsty ones, because when you get into your 30s, and that's what a lot of women are going for, the younger women, is because you do have those resources. You pull up in the cool car, you got a little bank in the bank account, you got your little swagger to you. I'm using all my old man words that I know for all the cool hip young generation. But they're going to do that, and you're going to have your pick of the litter at that point, because women that wouldn't give you the time of day, because again, you go to the Got Standards Bro, they look for income, of course, height, and they'll overlook that for income. But they will be, more attracted towards you based on, again, you pull up in a jalopy or a Maserati, who's going to get more women, generally speaking? That's what a lot of them are into. But you need to vet the hell out of them. And I would say any woman, and again, this goes for the girls or the guys too. Y'all need, instead of sleeping together day one, you need to vet the hell out of each other, and see if you're getting a quality mate. That's a lot of it.
So Joy says, in that generation, divorce was never an option. She's referring to our grandparents' generation. When our grandparents married, they stuck it out. Divorce is easy to do nowadays, unfortunately. True.
I can show you I love showing the image off. When no-fault divorce got passed out of California and then became nationwide back in 1969, the numbers of divorce went through the roof. And of course, we had the Mary Tyler Moore generation, all that kicking in as well. But yeah, divorce there was a spike or two in the early 30s and 40s, but nothing with what it was. But when they made no fault divorce, which is I woke up one day and I don't feel it anymore, I can divorce you. When that became the law of the land, that's when a lot of this started happening. Before 1969, it was for fault divorce. You had to see it was infidelity, for cheating, or they abandoned you. Those were like two of the primary reasons. It was a lot harder to prove. Well, shouldn't that be the only reason we do divorce today?
It should not be, because I'm no longer happy. That's for sure.
It shouldn't be. Well, I'm not feeling it anymore. He's not, making the money, or she's not, putting on the skinny jeans. She's putting on a little bit of weight, whatever. I'm not feeling it anymore. So let's get divorced.
Yeah. A family affair, dropping some more knowledge, staying together. Marriage work is a decision both parties must commit to.
And that's what Ronald Reagan, he said that one of his largest regrets he had ever made or did was passing no fault divorce. He saw what happened with that decision. He thought he was doing something good. We'll leave that out there for the historians to figure out. But he came back and said that was a huge regret of his.
So Mike says, I tried to make my marriage work, but I was working 7 days a week at 12. And she told me that she fell in love with me. And I found out she was seeing someone while I was working. Gosh, man, how many times have we heard that story?
Oh God, that's I would say it's a Tuesday, but it's more like a 1 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Yeah. And that's the catch-22 that men are in, isn't it? So women won't respect you unless you're out there grinding. They won't respect you unless you can put food on the table. But then you have to give up your time for them to be provided with resources. Then she sits back and she says, well, you don't pay enough attention to me.
Yeah. 50 Shades of Grey. I think everyone's seen that movie, gets the premise. This guy's a multi-billionaire, gets I'd call her a 3 or a 4 on a good day. And then she's like, well, you need to spend more time with me. He's like, well, how the hell do you think I got where I'm at today? He busted his ass to get there.
Yeah.
And there's memes all over the place that talk about this. Yeah, they're like, honey, you need to make more money to provide me with my 4-bedroom house, my 2 cars, all this debt that I'm going to make you acquire. And then when you're out there burning the midnight oil to make it happen, like this poor guy, then she's like, well, I'm not feeling he's not around anymore. And if you don't believe me, watch Cheaters. It's out of Dallas, but you can watch it on all the free channels. 9 times out of 10, when it's the girl that's breaking up with or cheating on the guy, her excuse every time is, well, he works too much. He's not paying enough attention to me.
Guys, let me give you a quick bit of advice. You all already know that it's your job and your duty as a man and as a husband to protect her from physical harm. We already know that. But don't forget that there are other things you have to protect her from. Yeah. And that is, you have to be her emotional security, right? So make her feel safe with the lifestyle that you're in. You can't be in and out of jobs all the time, causing her stress. but also you want to make sure that you're saving her from herself as well.
Oh yeah, big one.
Because
big one.
And I don't mean any disrespect to the ladies. I do not mean any disrespect, but some of the ladies out there are the problems they have are self-inflicted because they are. Remember when it comes to women, okay, guys, speaking to the men, don't forget that the world that we see is different than the world that women see. Yep. Women don't see the world for what it truly is because everyone has lied to them. It's not their fault. Don't blame them for it, okay? But they don't understand because women live life on easy mode. We live life on hard mode. And I'm not trying to insult women. I'm not. But what I'm saying is it's just an effing fact. Women get out of car parking tickets and speeding tickets all the time. Women get in the VIP. They can get flown around the world. Women are told that they're beautiful. If a woman falls apart and she's on the street, how many broke homeless women do you see? And compare that to broke homeless men. Yeah. Whenever you look at TV shows, it's very rare that women die in TV shows or in movies, but guys are getting blown up all the time because no one cares about men.
Right.
And when we're broke, the world tells us that we're broke. And when we're ugly, the world tells us that we're ugly. And when we're overweight, they can't wait to tell us that we're overweight. But do they treat women the same as that? Like when women are broke, do they tell women that they are broke? No.
Sunny and brave.
They tell them to keep your head up, queen, you'll get it. And whenever she's overweight, do they tell her, hey, you're overweight? No, they call her big and bold and beautiful. Yeah. My point is that women will run their decision-making through their emotions, and they do think that it's a good decision, but they don't see the long term. So where am I going with this? Let me draw a straight line to the point. Whenever Mike was talking about how he was working 7 days a week, 12-hour days, and his wife stepped out on him, guys, don't forget that the number one thing that you can do is communicate in your relationship. Don't stop the communication. Don't stop the courting. If you're talking to her and you're always on the same page and you're still dating her just like you did in month 3, you will substantially increase the chances of her and you being a long-term marriage. If she starts to harp on you about you're never home, I feel alone, yada, yada, don't get mad at her. Just simply let her know that since you have not yet won the Powerball, that you're going to have to go to work and give her options. Don't give her ultimatums, but give her options instead. Say, listen, let's say that her name is Susie. Susie, love, listen, I don't want to be at work all day, no more than you want me to be at work all day. I would much rather be here with you, but I need you to make a decision for me. Can you help me out? Here's the choices that we have. I can go to work and be at work for 10 or 12-hour days and keep you in the lifestyle that you're accustomed to and pay the rent and make sure that our family's moving in the right direction, but you'll get a little bit of my time. Or I can take my foot off the gas. I can cut back my hours. Maybe I'll go part-time, and we're probably going to have to downgrade our lifestyle, but you'll get more of my time. Love, what would you like for me to do? And guys, you kind of know what she's going to go through. Now, does that mean that she's not going to step out on your mic? No, it doesn't. There's nothing I can tell you that might prevent that from happening. But my point is I want you guys to be able to do everything you can to, like, if the marriage dissolves, at least you can look back and go, look, there's nothing else I could have done. I tried it all. And a lot of times, guys, we're riddled in regret because we didn't try it all. We failed at courting. We failed at communication. Let's keep it going here. Joe's back on. Joe,
I wanted to point out, and I wanted to bring up this image, make sure I can get to it here. One of the issues that we have, though, is that, women, they can't even agree on when, like, cheating occurs. Like, so when that woman cheated, when she goes and talks to her friends, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be told, well, he wasn't there to provide for you. That's how they'll support them, whereas guys will be like, you what? You cheat? Oh, you're, right. And they'll, I mean, society and everything else they'll support them. I'm trying to find. It's true.
And guys, what he's saying is if a man is caught cheating on his wife, he's the biggest POS in the world. If a woman cheats on her husband, the world tells her the first thing the world asks her to do is, what did he do to you? Mm-hmm. What did he do to you make you have to go out and cheat? It's just different. We don't live the same lives.
And based on the number, let me share my screen here
Go ahead.
so you can see this. This is a report that was done. Let me move this over here. This was a survey they did where they talk about liberal and conservative. And I have a hard time because, again, I've talked to a number of people that say they're conservative and they end up being liberal as can be. They're again, there's just a lot of delusion going on. But one thing I want to point out here is that, all women, when they did all women, they said that when a man has an affair, 70% of the time they said it was wrong. When a married woman has an affair, these same women said 56% of the time that it was wrong. They can't even, and I don't buy this for a number of reasons, but the overall, it's like they can't even agree or live in the world they create when it comes to stuff like this. That's kind of something I wanted to.
There's just not a lot of accountability there. There's not a lot of accountability.
No. It'll be just like you pointed out. It'll be, oh, what did he do to you? No, he was work, and they'll say, oh, well, he was working all the time. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. And the stigma is not there. When a woman steps out on a man, the stigma just isn't theirs. There has to have been a bad reason why it happened. If a man does it, you're not a real man, and all the other things that get said to him. It's just a nonsense.
A few more things that I've noticed that guys have said, guys who have been divorced, if they could have done it all over again, they said that you've got to be careful and make sure that you protect your own heart.
Yeah.
And what they meant by that is, like they said, that guarding your own heart is a crucial aspect of maintaining a healthy relationship. And it involves recognizing and understanding emotional needs and ensuring that they are met within the relationship. And this self-awareness can help you communicate your feelings more effectively, and that leads to deeper mutual understanding between you and your girl. It also sets boundaries to protect your emotional well-being, and you got to set boundaries, because these boundaries could be around your time, your space, or certain behaviors that you find distressing. So by protecting your own heart, you not only safeguard your emotional health, which a lot of us do not do, right? Yeah. We don't safeguard our own emotional health, but it contributes to the overall health of your relationship. So in enabling it to thrive on mutual respect and understanding. So guys, remember, okay, I know that we're trying to do for everybody, but and this goes for the ladies as well. You got to make sure that you protect your own heart as well. Mm-hmm. I've said on other podcasts that one of the things that women do that they make mistakes on a lot is that they're so giving and so caring of everyone around them that they do for everybody else except for themselves. And the women out there, the good women, are usually the last ones that they do anything for. And I've made the analogy that, hey, when you're on an airplane and the turbulence comes and those masks start dropping from the ceiling, there's a reason why they tell you to put yours on first before helping other people. Guys, that's great advice for women because they are the heartbeats of our family, but also keep that advice for yourself too. If you're the leader of the household, we can't have you running on 60% of what you got. Okay. Right. And a lot of you guys are downright running on fumes out there. So make sure that you're setting boundaries and make sure that you're being careful with the amount of time that you spend, the space that you allow people to be into, or certain behaviors that you will or will not accept. Another thing also is make sure that you guys are doing the best you can to fall in love over and over again, because falling in love with your partner over again, it's essential if you want it to thrive. And love is not like a stagnant state, but love is like a dynamic process that evolves over time. You guys already know this. In the beginning, the first year that you were in love with your wife, that looks different.
Lust. All this was lust.
Yeah, it really
was. Look good in the bikini. You guys rocked the world. It was all good. Man. That's all cute. Yeah, the honeymoon period is what they call it.
You guys were jumping on each other like rabbits, exploring everything. And then let's be honest, right? After a couple of years, you know every birthmark on that woman, right? And it's not that you don't love her. You love her differently. And that's my point. You've got to continue to fall in love over and over again. And this could be a kind gesture that they make, a new interest in a new interest that they develop or you develop, or simply just the way they, look, the way they smile, whatever you want to do, just make sure that this continual recovery prevents the relationship from becoming stale. I don't want your guys' relationship to be stale. So infusing it with vitality and excitement is going to be vital. It's like reading a favorite book where you find something new to love each time you reopen it or reread it. Be in love with her over and over again. Another thing too, guys, is don't forget to always see the best in your woman. Seeing the best in your partner is about acknowledging and appreciating the positive qualities that they have, even when they're not that apparent. It involves a conscious decision to focus on their strengths, their virtues, instead of dwelling only on their downsides or shortcomings.
Words of affirmation from the 5 love language world.
100%, little acts of kindness for her. When's the last time you brought her home flowers that was not a holiday?
February 14th, yeah.
Or her birthday.
Right.
Some of you have never brought her home flowers except for a holiday or her birthday. I promise you this, she appreciates the flowers on Valentine's Day, but she will absolutely appreciate flowers more on October 23rd, tomorrow.
She wants to know that you still look at her and you still think of her that way. And, for guys, think about like a car is the care and maintenance of that vehicle to keep that thing running. You check the oil, you make sure that you polish it, you do those different things to keep that car, i.e. your relationship, in tip-top condition. And I did want to, a stray thought crossed my mind on this marriage advice from a divorced man, the topic, and when you were talking about boundaries and things like that, and using my wealth of knowledge over my many marriages, something just kind of clicked for me. I would love to hear in the comments if anyone agrees, disagrees, or thoughts, or maybe it's going to make them go, oh my God. So when these women, when they end up, stepping out, divorcing you for whatever, at least for me, it was, I went from being the man of the house and everything that it meant, as far as, I was the stoic, the guy that gets stuff done. I would have the conversation, but final word, the man position. And I started, like, oh, well, okay, honey, you don't want to, cook tonight, or, oh, you want to go on a trip on your own. Those little things where I started becoming less of a man in the guy sense. And that's when all the really bad stuff happened. Now, later on, I developed boundaries. I'm like, this is how things are going to be in my house. It's going to work this way. And if you want to be in this house, great. If you don't, there's the door.
Yeah.
Ain't had a problem.
It's amazing how that happens.
Where I'm getting at is, men, when like adversity happens, and I know the tendency, because you all want, you don't want arguments in the house. You don't want fights and disagreements and all those problems. But when you give in irrationally, when you don't do it the right way, that your woman looks at you like, I can get away with something. I can, because and again, these are not Jimmy's comments. These are my own. So hate me, not him. A lot of times women are like velociraptors. They're always testing the Jurassic Park boundaries until they break through. And I know a lot of people are, oh my, again, I'm talking to the guys here. Hopefully you all like Jurassic Park. They test the boundaries. And if you let them through, you're dinner at that point. You've got, one thing that I guess I've learned in this overall thing is that you be the man of the house. It's you have your frame, the way you do things. And it's like, if you want to be part of this, awesome. If you don't, the door's right there. I'll miss you. It'll hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to knuckle under.
Yeah.
And I think that's been, in looking at my history, at least, that's been a successful thing. And you can send hate mail to admin@pissedoffparent.com.
Yeah, don't send it to me.
These are mine alone, not Jimmy's. Again,
only send me good stuff.
Yeah, only send him good stuff. These are not his statements.
But let me see if I can't help piss some of the guys off myself. But guys, one thing I want to talk to you guys about also, and honestly, most of you guys have this down pretty well, okay? But there's still a handful of you guys out there that suffer a little bit on accepting accountability. I talk about that often, if you've noticed, accountability. And some of you guys don't really take full accountability for yourself. So I just want to remind you that
that's part of the man thing. It's like these boys are sitting there like, I'm a man, dude. One, if you got to say you're a man, you're not one. And if the stuff that we're saying is like, what the hell are they talking about? You need to like get around a real man and learn this stuff before you can expect your woman to be your woman. You need to be a man.
Yeah.
And everyone likes to talk the game, but apparently there are so few of us that are like, this is how we do stuff. I mean, you can't be expecting your woman to be a certain way if you're not going to be the other half of that.
So what does it mean to be a man, right? So what it means to be a man is you have to have structure, you have to have discipline, you have to have an emotional intelligence. You have to, and whenever I say take full accountability, you want to know what I'm really mostly talking about, guys, is I'm talking about your emotions.
Oh,
you guys let them run rampant too much, man. You know that some of you guys know you flip off too easy. You guys are off center way too easy, too quickly. I want you guys to make sure that you take full accountability for your own emotions. It's not your wife's job to make you happy. If we're going to sit here and throw a little shade their way, we get to throw shade back at us too. They're not here to make you happy.
Do people think that it's someone else's job to make them happy?
Then
we have failed on this show, because if you ever think that it's someone else's job to make you happy, you need to go back to kindergarten and start learning this stuff.
And whenever I say take full accountability for your emotions, I'm not only talking about, hey, make sure you don't get yourself off center and be a raging jerk. And I'm not only talking about make sure that you don't lean on her to make you happy, but I'm also talking about the fact that she can't make you sad either. Only you can make yourself sad. So I'm talking about the whole spectrum, guys, the good and the uglies. You're responsible for finding your own happiness. And through that, and through that, your joy will spill over into your relationship.
Right.
And everyone will reap the benefits of, your happiness. Another thing too that I really want to talk about, and I wrote this down because I did not want to gloss over this one, is don't try to change or fix your partner.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it doesn't happen in mass. I think that there's an old saying, and I believe this old saying is that women hope they can change their man, and men hope that she never changes. And there's a lot of truth to that. So when I say don't try to change or fix your partner, it's not the majority of you guys doing it, but there are some of you guys that do, in fact, try to do that. Look, every individual is unique. They're unique with their own blends of traits, quirks, and imperfections, okay? Trying to change or fix your partner can lead to resentment and tension in your relationship. So
it never works out.
It doesn't work out, man. Instead, try embracing the differences that you guys have.
Yeah.
Don't try to change her to conform and fit to what you want her to be. Love your partner for who they are, not for who you envision them to be. And let me tell you something. I'm guilty of it. Okay. I'm guilty of it. There have been times where I have dated where I had this vision of who I wanted her to be. And I tried to make that square peg fit into that round hole. And it only cost me. And I tell you,
didn't work out so well.
The price is high, and Dwayne knows what I'm talking about. The price is high. So your job, guys, is to love her as she is with no expectation of her ever changing.
Right.
Okay. If you ask that woman to marry you, you asked her. She didn't get that on one knee. You got that on one knee. If you didn't do your shit test by now, then you better embrace it. Embrace the suck. You better embrace that suck. You have by the time you ask her to marry you, the woman that you know that she is, do not think or try to change that woman at that point. You're going to have yourself a emotional bill that's going to be more than you want to pay. Yeah. So make sure you do your proper testing. I call it shit testing, but you do your proper testing before you drop down on one knee. This acceptance does not mean ignoring issues, though. Okay, so it's more of an understanding that everyone has their own journey and pace of growth. Change is going to happen with or without you pushing or being okay with it or not. Okay, but it's all about respecting individuality while nurturing the bond that you guys still have.
Right.
if you use this approach, it's going to foster more accepting, respectful, and ultimately healthier relationships with you and the people that you know. And that's where both partners start to feel value and loved for their authentic selves.
Right.
Okay. Not fixing her problems is going to be really hard for a lot of you guys out there. It certainly was for me as well, because I'm a fixer. It's what I'm good at. It's what a lot of you guys are good at.
Right.
Guys, we fix shit. That's what we do. There's a problem, we fix it. Ask Dwayne. Dwayne, is there a problem? This MFer, he fixes shit.
Fix it.
Literally and metaphorically, he fixes stuff. So it's
dryer breaks, fix it.
Fix, right? And that's, guys, that's how we are hardwired to be. Okay. But
if girls to the guys, if you're like, oh, he's a great guy, but he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I'm going to make him, once we get married, I'm going to make him stop. No, you move on.
Yeah.
Or you go, I'm going to live with it. One or the other. When you're dating, and she's like, yeah, I like you, but I like sleeping with other guys, that's not going to change. If she's like, I like to have zero money at the end of the month, and your goal is to not eat Alpo the rest of your life, you probably ought to pick somebody else.
Guys, these are the tests that I was talking about right here. He's talking about once you put the ring on her finger, if that's how she is,
your job as her husband is to be her biggest cheerleader. What's the male version of cheerleader? Man, I don't know. Cheerleader, whatever. I'm new wave now. Is to be her biggest cheerleader. If she's like, hey, I want to do this business venture, bam, you're there to do it. If she joins 10 bazillion different groups, you'll be her webmaster and make sure all the websites are updated. Not feeling a little pain from that one, but I'm talking about other people's stories, not mine. If her heart is to serve people and to be involved in different organizations, your job is to go get it done, and you're gonna make sure dinner is taken care of and do the laundry or whatever while she's able to do that, to fulfill that. And of course that's going to come back to you, and vice versa. If he's enjoys talking to random strangers on the internet about marriage advice for a divorced man on Sundays, or has toy collections or whatever, she needs to support that to make you the best person. And again, I'm not relying on her to make me happy. I'm happy with this, but her being supportive of it makes it so much easier. If she every night she's like, I quit buying these stupid toys, they're dorky, I hate them, or blah 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 blah. I'd be like, well, it was nice knowing you while we were dating. Right. But the man, on the man's side, if the man's like, look, we can't pay the mortgage this month because I had to get Fortress Maximus, then as a man, I need to make sure that the family's taken care of, and go, you know what, I need to not buy Fortress Maximus, using some personal examples. But we've lost that. Nowadays, all your marriages and your relationships are all based on feelings, and I gotta have that. He has to support all of my crazy feelings all the time, and if I don't get 100% out of him, he's not taking me to Spain or Italy or whatever, then I've got to leave him. That's where we're at today.
Yeah, and guys, I understand why you try to fix her. It's because we don't like seeing the people that we love in pain.
Right.
That's why we try to fix them. But that said, fixing her problems, for me included, and a lot of you guys, it's like our default. That's what we go to. But instead of fixing, when she's sad or she's upset, remember that she may just want to be heard and not necessarily given advice.
Yeah. Sometimes just shut up. just let her and don't go, I'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
Just listen to her.
Just hold her. Hold her and let her know.
Not by the neck.
Yeah, not by the neck, guys. Not by the neck. Yeah. So just grab her and give her a hug and let her know it's okay. Let her know that you hear her, and that she's important, and that you are that pillar in which she can always lean on.
And be the pillar.
Because the feminine spirit is all about change and emotion. It's like a storm. Her emotions will roll in, and as you remain strong and unjudging, she will eventually trust you and open up her soul to you.
Right.
Don't run away when she's upset.
Right.
Stand present. Be strong. Let her know you're not going anywhere. Listen to what she's really saying behind the words and emotions, and you'll go a long ways.
But don't put up with abuse.
No abuse. Be careful where you hold her. Try wrapping your arms around her torso.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Another thing too, guys, and you guys probably need to be doing more of this. Be silly. Just man, then let your.
How do you think I got Brandy?
Yes, I mean, a lot of you guys, man, you guys are good. A lot of you guys were making. Some of you guys could be straight up stand-up comedians, and you were texting her some good shit back when you guys were courting each other. Now look at you. You're 5 years in. You're 8 years in. And you haven't told a damn good joke in 4 years. Man, be a little silly. Don't take yourself so damn seriously all the time. Laugh. Make her laugh. Laughter makes everything easy. And one more thing also, make sure you fill her soul. Every day, fill her soul. I know that it's a little bit of work, but if you just let your damn hair down, stop acting so serious, like learn her love languages. Some of you guys don't even know what the 5 love languages are. If you don't,
women don't either.
Yeah, fair enough.
Dig at Brandy.
But learn her love languages and the specific ways that she feels important and validated and cherished. Ask her, here's a tip, ask her to create a list of 10 things that makes her feel loved. And then I want you to memorize those things and make it a priority every day to make her life better. Can you do that, guys? Yeah. Can you do that? I know you can. While I'm thinking about it also, hey, have you liked this show yet? Sure. Have you commented yet? I see a lot of our reoccurring viewers commenting, but have you commented? Look, like the page, put a little laugh emoji or a heart emoji or the little thumbs up emoji. Share this to people that you think would need to see this kind of, there might be someone that is going through this very thing. Share with them. You got my full permission to go ahead and share this podcast with someone. But guys, don't forget to like the page and subscribe to the channel. Also,
to talk about
what you got?
Well, to kind of talk back, you go through a divorce, you deal with all that stuff, and it is possible, to find happiness and find love again. And we were talking about, you're talking about joking and laughing, and I joked about how I was able to snag Brandy, and let me just share that real quick. The fact that
was last night, right?
That was last evening. We were at the Fallen Brothers gala event, and it was one of the few times I got dressed up. But I just want to throw it out there for the guys. There's hope. A guy like me got a guy like her, or got a girl. Wait, that came out wrong.
No, you got it. A guy like you landed a girl like her. Yeah.
Got it. If I can do it, y'all can do it.
Guys, if Dwayne can do it, you can do it. Okay.
Yeah, you hear me every single day, and the fact that I
literally asked Dwayne yesterday, did Brandy get those glasses after she chose you? Was she a seeing woman before?
I think she needs to get her prescription looked at. Yeah. But it is possible. Women fall in love with obviously not looks. So, it is possible, but I would say, I do the things I am a man. I provide the security and all those different things. I'm when she's acting nutty, I'm the sounding board that is, stoic. And I'm like, I hear you. I feel you. Let's, talk through the issues. I have my boundaries because again, and we all also have to look at, we're both older. We're not, 18 anymore. And so we've had baggage. So, she has her triggers, I have my triggers, and we've learned to work with those, or things that, I know not to say or do or whatever. And sometimes vice versa, where there's things that she knows not to say or do. And but as the man in the relationship, you've got to be the man in the relationship. And I don't know if we need to teach a topic on that or whatever, but about being a man, the things that, what that is, but it is possible, and it's possible to find love after divorce. I think we all want to say, after I got divorced, I was like, never in a million years. I did it 2 more times. It can be done, but you've got to vet, You've got, I mean, I put through the vettings. I talk through stuff and listen to the answers and listen to the real answers and work through all that. And I mean, at the end of the day, could things change? You never know. I mean, you just don't. But it can, I mean, you can find happiness. And I would say overall, we have a great relationship. We laugh, we love, we have fun. She's allowed to be the best person she can be. I'm allowed to be the best person I can be given this. And it works out.
Let's see what Mandalorian has to say. So she says, do everything to communicate and work through things. But if it doesn't work it out, then know when to walk away from it as well. She says, my first year of marriage was actually the opposite. My husband had issues really opening up and allowing me in because of his previous relationship.
Yeah.
And then finally, he finally did it, but he told me that he had to know I wasn't going anywhere. And now we're almost at the 20-year mark.
Yeah. Brittany and I have been together for 8 years now. And I told her a triggering story that's actually unfortunately occurring right now of something from my past. It wasn't like anything that I would like keep or whatever, just never, the opportunity never came up to talk about it. But, she learned about a triggering event or triggers that I go through on an issue that we're dealing with right now. Men, we generally don't open up anyway. We're very, at least me, I'm very reserved, and I'm 51 years old. I've seen a lot of crap in my lifetime.
Yeah. And whenever men start getting up there past 40 years old, we've had enough life experience to, last us a full lifetime.
More than we wanted.
More than we really wanted, certainly more than we asked for. And what I want you guys to know is that, it's definitely justified why you keep to yourself, because life has thrown so many damn curveballs and fastballs your way. You don't know what the hell you're swinging at, but don't forget to be present in your relationship.
Yeah.
Don't and I'm not talking physical presence. I'm talking about your attention, that kind of presence. Give her not only your time, but your focus as well. Yeah. Your attention, your soul. Do whatever it takes to clear your head, so that whenever you are here with her, you're actually there with her. Treat her like the most. Look, guys, treat your woman like she's the most valuable client you have at work, because you want to know what she is.
Yeah,
she is your most valuable client. Also, every time that you make a decision, if you're not sure where to go or what to say or what to do, or if you should say or if you should be quiet, whatever it is, if you always choose love, I think you'll be okay. Choosing love every day means that you are consciously deciding to act with kindness and understanding and patience towards your partner, even whenever the circumstances are challenging. It's about putting their needs into consideration and showing them respect and care, regardless of your personal feelings at the moment. Love is, in this context, it's not merely a fleeting emotion, but a deliberate action. Right. So by choosing love, you create a strong foundation of mutual respect and empathy, which you can help navigate you through a lot of difficult times. So it's that daily affirmation that keeps your relationship resilient and flourishing. Remember earlier in the podcast, maybe about 30 minutes ago, we had the guy, his last name was Cologne. He was asking about when's the best time to kind of get married or whatever.
Right.
Okay. And remember when I was giving him advice, I said, make sure that you don't have children outside of wedlock.
Yeah.
What I was basically alluding to, if for those of you who don't know, we had a commenter. He was asking, hey, when's a good time to be married? And I think for a man, it's probably in your 30s. But here's what I tried. Here's the advice I told him. I said, be careful about having children outside of wedlock, because that's a huge, big mistake. And what I want to talk about really quickly with the guys right now, and guys, listen, I'm your buddy. I'm going to be direct with you because I love you. Okay. Don't be an idiot. That's my next lesson, is don't be an idiot. Try not to make too big of mistakes. Learn from the mistakes that you do make. Look, you're not supposed to be perfect. Okay. I'm not expecting perfection out of you, or I don't expect perfection out of myself, but just try and not be too stupid. God. Be careful on some of the decision-making processes. Remember that you are the one that's leading this family. So they'll all look to your leadership. Your choices need to reflect that every single day. And these reflect that no matter what happens, you've got to understand that no matter what happens to you, it's going to happen to more than just you.
Right.
It's going to happen to the entire family. It happens to everyone that falls under your protection. So be really careful. Don't make stupid decisions. If you have to make a decision, that's a big one. If you make that decision alone, you are missing the mark, man. Never not include your woman in anything that's medium or big in decisions. And you know what I would say also is I would go even further than that, especially for the big decisions. The medium ones, you and your girl work through it. The big ones, go to your girl first. Her decision weighs the heaviest out of everyone because she's directly affected by this. But then ask some of your friends that you know, like, and trust in your inner circle that truly want you to win. Ask them for advice too. And the reason why I want you to ask them for advice, it's not because I want them to make the decision for you.
Right.
Go about it this way instead. Ask the people that you know, that you respect, what you should do, and ask them, what is it that I'm not seeing here? I want your friends to shoot holes in your idea like freaking Swiss cheese.
Right.
Why? Because those holes that you didn't think of is probably what's going to make you that whole decision go off the rails in the future.
Right.
And once you see enough people go, hey, this, hey, that. Like, that's one thing I really like about mine and Dwayne's friendship. He's such a good thinking person. And if I bring something to Dwayne, he will, it's not that he's negative, because he's not, but he'll go, but you forgot about this, and keep
reality.
This. Right. Dwayne's going to shoot holes in my idea, but I love that because then it's going to slightly make me tweak my decision-making process to overcome that potential pitfall that I did not see. So when I say don't be an idiot, don't make too big of mistakes. As the leader of your household, you can't afford to do that. Okay. Another thing too, that a lot of you guys have to make sure that you don't do is don't sweat the money. A lot of you guys are, well, man, you guys, I understand why you do it.
Guilty.
But yeah, look, financial matters are important, okay? And if they're not handled carefully, it can be a major stressor in a marriage. No doubt about that.
Yep.
To prevent money from being a point of contention, it's crucial to foster open communication about your financial aspirations and plans. Yep. Dwayne just mentioned that 20 minutes ago. Discussing individual and shared financial goals allows both partners to align their expectations and work collaboratively towards achieving them.
Right.
Before you guys get married, do not forget to talk in depth about both of your healths, your fitness goals, your life goals, your financial goals, your debt, your credit, your high blood pressure that runs in your family, all like your spirituality. Make sure you're aligned on who you pray to, or if you don't pray at all, make sure that's not going to be a contention of a bad thing. So make sure that you're having these important conversations. The next one, this one's going to hit home, isn't it?
Oh boy.
This one's going to hit home. It's going to hit home.
Right.
Keep the sex life alive.
Yeah.
Maintaining a healthy and satisfying sex life in a marriage is so important. Okay. I'm not going to get too personal, but in my marriage, did not think that was as important as it ended up being. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay.
Right.
There's men that are listening to this right now that know exactly what I'm talking about, have not been with their partner for quite some time. And although it's not directly look, women control access to sex, so it's not always in our control, but there are some things that you can do to help push this sucker up the hill. I can already tell you, your dirty minds.
Actually, I had a kind of a thought on that. Well, it's always the woman saying she's giving the man sex, or it's a condition. Like, if you sweep the floor, do the laundry, do that, then I will give you sex. And I'm like, what? It's not I don't want to say it's not a prize, but it's like, really, so that we're turning it into, I mean, there is the playful side of it, which, but if it's like a serious, like, oh God, you know what? If you do this, this, and this, and this, I'll let you get your 30 seconds of fun. Yeah. You might as well just get the hell away from each other at that point.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird that he's not on the podcast the entire time we're talking, and the first time that we mention sex, Michael Keller comes popping in.
He's like, hello.
He's like, oh, what do you know? The Swiss guy talks. It's 2:00 in the morning over there. He heard the word sex all the way from America.
He was asleep. Oh, they're talking about sex. What are we doing here? What's going on?
So he says, keeping the sex alive. That's good advice. Issues the women who close their legs. What a man can do. Yeah, I mean, it's again, women control access to whether or not a child gets brought into this world, and they control access to sex. Men control access to relationships. So this is a really tough one for a lot of men because we don't control access to this. But let me give you guys some tips on what you can do to kind of keep this ball rolling here. I want you guys to try to prioritize intimacy. Okay, make intimacy a priority in your marriage. Set aside time for each other, whether it's through the date nights I talked about, the weekend getaways that Dwayne talked about, or simply spending quality time together. Creating a strong emotional connection can enhance your physical intimacy. Also, throw a little variety, guys, a little variety and spontaneity in there. Right. I always mess that word up, spontaneity. Spice things up by introducing variety into your sex life. Try new things.
Agreed upon variety. Commercial break.
Consensual things, yes. Yeah. Consensual things.
No one's wearing a horse mask in the corner or anything.
Yes, correct. Surprise your partner with spontaneous acts of affection and passion, as long as they're within the laws of your state. Foreplay. Don't just rush right into it. Okay,
not microwave. Yeah, slow cooker. Women are slow cookers. Men are microwaves. Agree. That's just the way we are.
Guys, I hear it a lot. Whenever I'm doing counseling, I hear it a lot that he just runs right in for it. Take some time, do a little foreplay, spend time on the foreplay. Yeah. You guys, look, I'm not a sex teacher. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys what to do, but you guys know kissing, cuddling, other forms of physical affection, that helps build anticipation and increases the connection between the partners. Another thing, too, that I have talked to you guys about, I've talked to you about it. I talk about it all the damn time. Keep fit and healthy.
Yes.
Your bodies. Keep yourself fit, man. Keep yourself healthy. Taking care of your physical health can have a big positive impact on your sex life.
And
big
for guys,
positive act.
There's a physical change when that gut shrinks.
Yes. Listen, every 40 pounds that you lose off of your, not necessarily belly, but every 40 pounds that you drop of body fat, it increases your manhood by 1 inch. The bigger your belly is, the more he looks smaller. So you can lose weight. You can have your stamina up. You can have your drive up. And
so you're saying if I lose 40 more pounds, I'll have an Audi.
For the first time in a long time.
Woo! Yes. So I don't have to use the mirror at the angle.
I mean, look, man. Dwayne, the fours are what you need to be focused on. 40 pounds means you'll have 4 inches finally. 40 pounds, you have a total of 4 inches. So there you go.
A total. Yeah, I'll have an Audi finally. All right, cool.
So, staying physically fit can improve your overall well-being, your ability to enjoy having a sex life. Also make sure you guys manage your stress, because that's a big factor or detractor. High levels of stress can definitely negatively impact your stress life. We all know that.
But sometimes it can be a great stress reliever.
That's yeah.
Ladies, can I talk to ladies for just half a second here? When he's feeling a little bit stressed, that'll take the edge off. Just throwing it out there for you.
They know.
They know.
They're just being stingy with it. Stop being stingy with it.
Stop being stingy.
This one's going to be hard for a lot of you guys. Explore.
I thought the last one was hard for a lot of guys. Moving on. Exactly.
So, explore your desires together. Okay. Consider reading books or watching videos on intimacy. Okay. You know what videos I'm talking about. Attending couples workshops, seeking the guidance of a sex therapist if you encounter challenges in the bedroom. Learn, grow together, enhance that connection, So there's some tips there. And at the end of the day, guys, if your sex life is not where you want it to be, and you realize that you're watching porn more than you're doing the physical act of it, you got to.
Porn is one of the biggest killers. It is. You want to
It'll
say
kill
it's
it.
not, but it is. Yeah.
It'll kill it. It'll ruin your desire to hunt. We both know that because Dwayne just said, and we all know he's right. It's a stress reliever, right? So if you relieve that stress, are you going to go hunt and be that man, that masculine man, that sexy man that is needed that your wife wants you to be? No, you're not going to be. You're good, man. You got topped off. You're all right. So be careful how much pornography you guys watch. When I said videos, I'm referring to both you and her in the same room watching them, not you by yourself, you creeper. But and then at the end of the day,
deletes history,
incognito browsing, whatever it is,
whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm just guessing that's what it's called, But at the end of the day, guys, if none of that works and you're still at odds and things are not working right, seek professional help. Okay. Yeah. Remember that the key to a healthy sex life in a marriage is an ongoing effort. Okay. Communication, willingness to adapt to the changes that naturally occur in long-term relationships. Yeah. It's important to focus on emotional intimacy as well as physical connection to maintain that healthy sex life. Okay. Another one, grow together. Alicia from earlier before, she had alluded to that. Grow together. Growing together as a couple is actually fundamental to a thriving relationship. It involves supporting each other's personal and professional developments, finding avenues to evolve in a union. The mutual growth that you guys have allows both partners to expand their horizon. It enriches themselves as individuals while strengthening the bond that they share. So, don't forget to grow together. Let's go to the comment section. I see Mike over here blowing it up. Okay. What is he saying? He says, I was there before. Yeah. Ronnie and how she looks, she'll go along with it. Yeah. And Family Affairs back on. They're always dropping some really good stuff. To be fair, men must also understand that women are not a light switch. If you just do small things during the day, nighttime will be a breeze. Very good. Very good words of advice.
Oh yeah. Women are crockpots. I mean, talking to the guys, if women are offended, sorry, that's just the way it is. Women are crockpots. It takes them longer to get quote in the mood. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they've been up for the quickie, ready to roll, whatever, but it's usually over a period of time, over the day, over days, whatever your particular thing is. But and if you're acting like a jerk the entire time, I mean, again, they're emotional creatures. You're acting like a jerk. She's not going to be like, hey, let's go have some fun time. But yeah, I mean, they seem to realize. Oh wow, they're dropping some knowledge here.
But save him as bookmarks.
Save him as book. Okay, that's what I was doing wrong. Okay, I got to correct that.
My last two bits of advice, guys, is one thing that I want you guys to do and really pay attention to this one is I want you guys to be fully transparent. If you want to have trust, you have to be willing to share everything. If you're wondering if you should share a deep, dark secret, fetish, or addiction, the answer is yes. If you're wondering if you should be sharing that, the answer is yes. Drop the mask. Drop the mask, guys. If you feel like you need to wear a mask around her and show up perfect all the time, you're never going to experience the full dimension of what love can be. You'll also open up your relationship to resentment, arguments, and divorce.
So what you're saying is I should tell Brandy that I want to hear Dave Ramsey talking about our financial future in the background when we're making love, is what you're saying.
I would say that
would be a deep, dark secret. Okay.
Yeah, that one. If you have that one, keep that one a secret.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that one can keep a secret. Yeah.
Noted. Yeah. Actually, Family Affairs just threw something up there that I'm like, this hopefully is common knowledge. Share your passwords. Yeah.
So explain to them why he would say that.
Well, I mean, if you have your InstaSnap account over here and she's not allowed to see it, that's not trust. I mean, you should be open and transparent with everything about you. I mean, and again, that also will prevent you from getting a wandering eye. Like, if you have a private Snapchat or whatever, and you and your coworker have this, whatever, and your wife, more of a chance of you saying, hey, let's go get drinks. And then it just, next thing you know, you're, cheating on her or something. But yeah, you should be transparent. You guys are a team, like it or not. When you made your marriage vows, you got into a long-term relationship, you've agreed to share everything about yourself. That's a huge thing. And I mean, I know I'm glad Family Affair mentioned it, but I'm like, guys, if this was new information to you, holy snikes. I
Yeah.
mean, this should be normal stuff. I mean, like, Brandy, well, actually, I built her a PC. It has all my information on it. She has access to everything. Actually, she gets confused sometimes because she makes a post and it's under mine. And we don't share, or we don't share, we don't have secrets from each other, because I'm too old to play the games. The whole I'm going to keep and I don't know how people that do it are able to do it. I lack that ability. But yeah, if you want to if you want to increase the odds of a healthy relationship, you should be 100% transparent. Your passwords, your finances, your goals. I mean, those should all be conversations. And also, it prevents the is he cheating on me, or is she cheating on me, or what's going on in the that type of stuff.
So good news, bad news. The good news is that everyone pretty much agrees that that's probably going to kill your marriage.
Okay.
The bad news is you shared it on podcast, so you're in trouble.
Oh, well,
sorry.
Guys,
sorry.
I may be on the market here before you know it, because you're just going to tell me not happening.
So I'll be opening up interviews for a co-host because he's probably going to be incognito for a while. But so back,
Ramsey.
So back to the transparency thing, right? So let me get real with you. Then I'm going to close the podcast out here shortly, I promise, okay? There are some of you listening to this podcast right now that and you know that you drink too much. You know you gamble too much. You know that weird fetish that you may have that'll make her feel indifferently about you. You know you have that crazy fetish, okay? I'm not going to get too – I keep saying fetish because whenever you do counseling sometimes – you hear some shit that you wish you could unhear. I'm not going to share it with you guys, but some of you, man. All right, let's leave it. Yeah, freaks, man. If you have a vice, a fetish, or an addiction, and she doesn't know about it, shame on you. You should have discussed this prior to marrying her. If she had a deep, dark secret that could jeopardize your relationship, you would have wanted to know. So don't be a hypocrite. Do not think that you can keep this secret a secret forever, because you can't.
It all comes out.
If you need help talking about it, then hire a therapist. Disclose your secrets to him or her, the therapist, and then bring your wife into therapy, and the three of you discuss this. Your marriage is far too important to take this lightly, okay?
Right.
So I'm harping on this because I've had to help many people with this kind of stuff. The amount of married couples who have kept deep, dark secrets secret is more than I thought it would be. And it always comes to light. What's in the dark will always come to light. So get out ahead of it before he or she finds out. Jump out ahead of it. If it's pretty bad, or you know that it's really going to jeopardize a relationship, get a therapist, man. That $100 an hour or whatever they cost, it's well worth it. It's a small price to pay. Okay. And the last tip I want to give you guys is to forgive. I wish that I would have forgiven instead of carrying the weight of my past. I let my history hold me hostage. Don't make the mistake that I did. Don't do the same thing. Holding on to past mistakes that either you or she makes, it's like a heavy anchor to your marriage. It will hold the relationship back. Forgiveness is freedom. Cut the anchor loose, guys. Cut it loose and always choose love. In closing, these pieces of advice are from myself and other divorced men like Dwayne and other men who are also been divorced, and men who have spent countless hours pondering over what they could have done differently in their previous marriages. The pain of a failed marriage is not something I would wish on anyone. It changes you. It changes how you look at life and relationships. Our past marriages may be over, but it doesn't mean that yours has to be. Despite the pain divorced men have gone through, the truth is that many of us hope to be married again. And even if we don't choose the traditional marriage where the government gets involved, many of us still want a lifelong partner to do life with.
Yeah.
That said, please accept the advice that Dwayne and I have given you today, because we've provided some valuable insights to maintaining a strong, healthy relationship. This advice emphasizes the importance of continuous effort, mutual respect, understanding, and love in nurturing the marital bond. And remember, guys, that every marriage has its ups and downs, but with these tips today, you can navigate through them successfully and build a lasting bond. Friends, if you don't remember a damn thing I said today, at least do this. Always choose love. Always choose love. Because in the end, this is the only advice you really need. If this is the guiding principle through which all your choices are governed, then there'll be nothing that will threaten the happiness of your marriage. Love will always endure. I want to thank you guys for another episode of The Big Show. I really appreciate all the comments. Guys, before you click off, could you make sure you smash that like button real quick for me? The Big Show is here every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Guys, until next week, on behalf of Dwayne Ward, the author of PissedOffParent.com, and myself, you guys have a great week. We'll see you guys next week here. Same bat time, same bat channel. You guys have a good one. We'll see you soon.